I just wanted to discuss, or maybe just put, maybe just say my opinion on the petition that I see going around now. Like it's been trending for like a week or two. Basically, I think it's been like let's just say I've been seeing it trending for like a week. The petition of trying to stop Chris Brown from coming to South Africa. So I don't know. I don't know what's the intentions there. I don't know what's the goal. But from what I've seen is that there are people who are trying to stop Chris Brown, or they don't support the fact that Chris Brown is coming to perform in South Africa. So I'm trying to guess, because this is an organization that like talks about women abuse, something about women and whatever. Not trying to speak down on them. I believe we need organizations like that. I believe this time around they kind of like, I think they are targeting a wrong event, a wrong person, or they are doing it for wrong reasons from what I see. Because now, let's look at this. I believe like it's about Chris Brown has a history. Chris Brown has a history when it comes to gender-based violence situation. He has a history with Rihanna that we all know. Now look what happened. It's 2024 now. Chris Brown had the incident with Rihanna in 2009. He was like, I think 18, 19 in 2009. I think it was 19. He had an incident in 2009. Now it's 2024. He's 35, 36. I'm not sure. I'm not good with math. But my point is, look at the timeline. That thing happened in 2009. Him and Rihanna had that incident that he admitted that he did it. He apologized. He went to court. He did time. He went to court. He was sentenced for whatever hours of community service. He did that. Later on, I think he was on probation. I think something happened that violated his probation. He had to go to jail for it. But him going to jail was not because of beating Rihanna. He was on probation for beating Rihanna, and then he was involved in a fight. I think I don't know. I think something happened, but that was not about beating women. So he had to go to jail for that because of the probation. Then he did some time in there, and then his probation, I think, was over in 2015-16, if I'm not mistaken. I'm trying to I don't really remember. I'm not looking at the facts now. I just talk about things that I remember. So now, in 2015, okay, before we can even talk about 2015, 2016, after the incident of him and Rihanna, they moved on with their lives. Chris Brown came back into the industry because he was blackballed. His music was not allowed to sell for some time. He came back with an album, Fame, in 2011. 2012, him and Rihanna were back together, showing that Rihanna forgave him. She moves on with life. He moves on with life. Him and Rihanna got back together. They broke up again, but at that time, they did not break up because it was because of violence, or it was not because of someone beat someone. The relationships do fail. Their relationship failed, so they had to part ways. Chris Brown dated Karuchi. He was with Karuchi until in 2015 or 14, when he impregnated someone outside of his relationship. Karuchi found out through media. So she didn't know that actually Chris Brown was having a baby with someone. So before Chris Brown told her, she found out through something. She found out through TMZ or something, and then now she was mad. The funny thing for me is, after that incident, after she found out, she never said anything about Chris Brown being abusive. She never said anything that Chris Brown is abusing her, whatever. But after that, now she started saying Chris Brown is abusive, Chris Brown is what, and knowing that she's gonna be believed. I'm not saying I don't believe her. I'm just saying, like, when someone wait until she is heartbroken to say those things, like, it's kind of like it raises a lot of questions for me. So now her and Chris Brown started having issues. She had a restraining order against Chris Brown in 2017. And I think also that restraining order was also because of 2017 she dated, or she kind of like in a situation with Quavo, and that's where Quavo and Chris Brown beef came from. In 2017 she had that thing with Quavo. Chris Brown was mad or angry at Quavo and both Karrueche that him and Quavo were close, not friends but they were close. So that why would Quavo go and date or be with someone that he was with his ex? So now he was mad at that, and then he acted up, and then that's when Karrueche had a restraining order against him. So now we move on. Chris Brown started getting falsely accused, because like I will say falsely accused because many times that he was being accused of those things, later on they will be proven that it's false. And I'm talking about proven, not that people go and go in court and then they lose the case. No, they would be proven that they are falsely accusing him, and also because of his history, it will be believed. And then when it gets proven that it's false, no one published that okay, actually that lady was lying. So now it became that. Fast forward to now, or let's just say like this petition that is happening with his performance, because these women or these people that are running this organization believe that he has this history of domestic violence or like women abuse. They believe I think I didn't see like what the reason why they don't want him to perform, but I believe so. To them, it's not a good thing that someone who has that history will come and perform in South Africa. Look at this. Chris Brown was banned from going to England since 2019. Since 2009 until 2019. 2019 it was his first time he went to perform there on a Wizkid show. Later on his Under the Influence tour, he did 2 or 3 shows in England. No one was having problems with that. That's England. He did a lot of shows, and mind you, he was selling out those shows in England. He went to France. He sold out shows in Paris, in whatever places that he was performing in France. He did his European tour was successful. No one was having problems with that. Okay, I don't know, but like it looks like he was allowed to perform. He performed. No one was having problems with that publicly. I don't know. And then this tour, 11/11 tour. He did that tour, and also not before even this tours. He's been having tours even when he released Indigo. He did the Indigo tour even before Indigo. Yeah. He did the Heartbreak on the Full Moon tour. He's been doing tours. He's been performing. Now he comes to South Africa. He has not been to South Africa. He came to South Africa in 2007. He was on a mini tour. He came to South Africa again, I think in 2016. That show, I was not attentive to it. I don't know what happened there. But he came. Now, like, just look at the time that he came here. From 2016 until now, Chris Brown has never had any incident of women abuse. Why now they want to ban him or stop his performance about the issues that happened way before he actually came in for the second time? Now he wants to come for the third time. He announced that the date and tickets were available. The biggest stadium in Africa, like I think 90,000, 94,000. I don't know the real capacity, but they say between 90,000 and 94,000. They got sold out in 2 hours. Shows that people want to see him perform. Now we have these organizations. I call it feminist organizations, because sometimes they misfire. Like they just want to find something that they can use against, and now they see a good opportunity with Chris Brown, because he is one of the biggest artists in the world. He's in the level of Michael Jackson, Beyonce, James Brown, Asha, all those big artists that you can think of when it comes to pop and R&B. He is one of them. They want to use him so that they can make so that they can stay relevant, so that they can make their organization look useful. You see, I don't think, and look, I'm looking at this thing and I see apparently now they say it's around 9,000 to 10,000 signatures signed with this petition. I see three categories of people who signed this petition. First of all, we have people that are supporting the women abuse stuff and they believe these things, this propaganda that is being put against Chris Brown when it comes to like women abuse, and they think I don't know. I don't even know what makes them think it's a bad thing that Chris Brown will come and perform in South Africa. So they sign that okay, they don't want to see him perform in South Africa. So the second category, people who are just not his fans. They'll be like, okay, fuck this. Like, we don't care whether it doesn't come, whether it comes, but we're gonna just support this anyway because we're not a fan. I don't blame anyone for not being a fan of Chris Brown. There are people who are fans of Beyonce. I'm not a fan of Beyonce, but I don't hate her. There are people who are not a fan of Usher. I'm a fan of Usher. There are people who are fans of, like in South Africa, there are people who are fans of Casper Nyovest. I'm not a fan of Casper Nyovest, but I don't hate him. You see? So you cannot be a fan. You cannot be an artist and everyone in the world is your fan. You're gonna be people who are just who are fans. You're gonna be people who are just like, okay, stop, we are okay to them. There are people who are gonna hate you. We don't know. And Chris Brown has a lot of people who hate him. So that's the second category. The third category, people who know they can't make it to the show. They actually want to go to the show, but they can't make it to the show. Could be that they don't afford, or could be that they think that like by the time they will be being able to afford, the tickets will be sold out, because the second show was announced. The first show was sold out in 2 hours. Now the second show, the tickets are almost sold out. So they'll be like, okay, if I can't make it to the show, no one should make it to the show. I believe that's what is happening here. So with this thing of Chris Brown, it's very I'm very disappointed with these people that they just decided to target Chris Brown. Here in South Africa, we have a lot of things that they should focus on. We have a lot of, they should actually be in the parliament now. Talk about people who are in like who are in the process, people who are being reported about this thing of abuse and whatever. Them stopping Chris Brown from performing in South Africa, it will never, or it won't help anything here in South Africa when it comes to, it's not like when if Chris Brown's show is cancelled and then GBV is gonna stop in South Africa. No, it's not gonna stop. And it won't even change anything. Like, that's what I'm trying to say. It don't even change anything. And also on top of that, they are wrong from trying to stop Chris Brown performing in South Africa. I'm a big fan of Chris Brown, but I'm not here trying to defend Chris Brown, but I'm here talking against people who are trying to stop Chris Brown from performing. Even if I was not going to the show, I'll be glad that Chris Brown actually considers South Africa. He would have chosen Nigeria. Chris Brown collaborates with a lot of, he has never worked with a South African artist before. And we might see, after this show, we might see him working with South African artists, because we know he's been a fan of Amapiano lately. But you know, Americans, they think Amapiano is Afrobeats. Like, probably now he knows, but when they get exposed to Amapiano, and especially someone like Chris Brown, who's very close with Nigerian artists, they introduce Amapiano to him like it's Afrobeats, because he speaks so highly of Afrobeats, but he dances, he does the Amapiano dances. So like, what I'm trying to say is, he's very close with Nigerian people, he's very close with Afrobeats people. He would have chosen Nigeria, but he chose South Africa. And also because South Africa is the biggest stadium. And South Africans, they've been requesting that he comes here. Now we have feminists who are just hungry for attention, and they want to be seen, and they see this as an opportunity to be seen, because Chris Brown is a big artist, and them against the big artist, it makes them, look, I've never heard of this organization before this thing, and I believe they've been around, but they've not been doing anything to be noticed, and now they are being noticed. You see, that's just what I believe with this thing. So that's my take on this petition. It's useless. I will just say it's useless and it's pointless. That's all I can say.